The question is from John, and he is asking for encouragement on getting started with his lawn care business. So let's talk about that. I'm going to read his question. Hey Jonathan, we plan to use your software in the future. My wife and I are in very early stages of starting our lawn care business. We haven't even purchased a used truck or any of that equipment that we need yet. We have saved up 1 year of living expenses, but I need to muster up the courage to leave my job. Do you have any words of encouragement? So, first and foremost, saving up a year of money is a big deal. So, that's awesome. That is a huge deal that isn't entirely necessary to launch your business, but man, what a pad that gives you. Now, with that being said, I do think that there's a risk of saying to yourself, based on what I just said, well, you know what, I'm gonna save for the next couple years and then I'll start that business. Here's your problem. You probably never get to it. Something else always happens. There's always another reason to plan a little more, get just a little bit more prepared, have a little bit more money in the bank, wait just a little bit longer. And the longer you put this off, the longer it will be till you get any benefit, any of the benefits that come from owning the company. You're going to do your time. So in terms of giving encouragement, let's be factual first. Starting and building a company is hard. It's a lot of work. It will not be easy. It will absolutely be at times like, why in the world am I doing this? I mean, it would just be easier to do what I used to do or go back and get a job or whatever the case may be. That's part of it. It's part of that's going to happen for two reasons. One, it's just freaking hard. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, and you got to wear a lot of hats, and you got to do a lot of the activities because you don't have enough money to hire people yet. And then two, there's something going on that's bigger than just building a business, and it's that you as a person, you're growing. Because it doesn't matter if you're running a $50,000 a year business or a $10 million a year company. At every stage, and there's all these stages as you're growing this company, you have to develop into a new person to get that company over the next hump to the next financial level. There's a reason why most guys hit a wall at 300,000 or $500,000 and just never get past it. And it's a little bit to do with the challenges of the business. It's mainly to do with the stuff in their head. And we are, and I am, my limiting factor. And I know that. And so we are the ones that hold our companies back. We either delay hiring more people because we don't have confidence, we don't spend the money on marketing, we don't know what to do, so we never take action because we're not willing to learn whatever it is we have to learn. We're not willing to spend the money to consult with the guys that have already been down the road ahead of us. We're not willing to read the books. Oh, I've got a family and I've got kids and I just don't really have any time, or oh, I've got all these other commitments, or I have all these little things I have to do in my business, and we put all that other crap in front of what we've really got to get accomplished. And don't take that wrong. I'm not saying you don't spend time with your family or kids. I'm just saying if you want to be successful, you figure it out. You create a plan and you make it happen so that they get time and your business gets time, and that when you're working on your business, you're focusing on the right stuff and you're not wasting time on anything you don't have to waste time on, so that you can be learning and educating and growing your skill set so that you can have breakthroughs in your business and get you past those humps. So this is tough. It's a tough business, but that's also the exciting thing about this business, or any business to that degree. When you as a person you go through this pain and you develop your skill set, your ability, you have this confidence, and you know that if it all falls apart, you can take that skill and you can go on to the next thing, to the next business. Or after you build this business, if you build it to a certain size, you could do it again, maybe in a completely different industry. There's real power that comes with that, and that's exciting, but you've got to go through a bunch of pain to do it. And so that's part of the process. But it's totally worth it. You've got to just, I guess you'd say dig deep and stay the course. And it will pay off if you're getting an education and doing the right things and learning. And I say doing the right things very intentionally, because you could do 10 years or 20 years and get nothing because you're doing the wrong things or you're thinking inaccurately. So You can tell yourself all kinds of stories and say, well, if I just do this or that, or if I just market this way, or marketing doesn't work, there's a million things you could tell yourself. But if you're wrong, you tell yourself this story, well, marketing doesn't work. I've just, in my market, got to grow slower and got to get my business through referrals because marketing just doesn't work here. None of the clients in my market, they don't ever use the internet. They don't find companies like us on the internet. Or in my market, direct mail doesn't work. Or whatever the case may be, you could be telling yourself that story and hinder your growth, but you could be dead wrong. And so you've got to make sure that you're thinking accurately, and that comes from educating yourself, surrounding yourself with people that have done it. So that's first. One, it's going to be hard. Two, you've got to develop yourself. Not developing yourself is going to only let you get so far. You may become a $1 million company, but you won't become five. You may become $500,000 company, but you may not become $1 million because you didn't develop your ability enough. And so you are the limiting factor. The next point I'll point out, so I'm giving you all these negatives first, but I hope there's some encouragement here. As you develop yourself, that is huge. That is just huge. Would you want to go back and be a 15-year-old kid again and not know all the stuff you know now and all the dumb things and all the stuff you could have avoided or done better? Probably not. It's the same kind of thing after you really develop your ability and your skill set and your know-how. You don't really want to give that up because it's so incredibly valuable, and you realize how few of your competitors and how few people actually will do what it takes. And so you put tremendous value into that ability that you've invested greatly and gone through a little pain to gain. And so there's tremendous value and satisfaction that comes from that. So let that be a bit of encouragement. You are going to go through some stuff, but on the other side, you will be a totally different person. And it's nice to be a totally different person than everybody else. It's nice to have confidence that you could take care of your family, or you could go build the next thing if the whole world or your whole business falls apart. It's nice to know that you can make it happen. That's big. That I hope is huge encouragement for you. Next, to be living in the world of reality. If you're married, if you have a spouse, your spouse has to be bought in. This is not a scenario where you start a company and next year you guys are living in a big old huge house, driving awesome cars and taking vacations anytime you want. This is an investment. You both have to believe together that, look, we're going to have to spend some time investing in this thing, building it. But on the other side, it will be big. In the short term, yeah, we're going to go through some pain here. But on the long term, for the rest of our life, we're going to have this thing that takes care of us and provides for us financially and gives us and maybe our kids totally different lifestyle they could have ever got. Or if you have kids, shows them a completely different example of what is possible in life, what they could become, what they could achieve, how maybe they could live life on their terms versus what everybody else says they have to do in life, the way everybody else says they have to act and conform. So I'm going off slightly here, but maybe that's a bit of encouragement. Think about that. One, it's hard, and your spouse has to be bought in, because if he or she is not, then that's going to be a massive drain on your mental capacity, because you come home at night and there's all this stress and you're not both moving together down the same road. That's tough. You've got to have that support, and you both need to be realistic. This is going to take a number of years. It's going to take a number of years to get comfortable where, okay, we can kind of breathe a sigh of relief here. We're okay. We're not getting rich, but we're okay. And then after that, it's going to take a number of years of additional investment to really get the business to a point where it's doing really, really well. I mean, let's say 5 years. Let's say it's 5 years before you're really rocking and rolling. It takes time. And 5 years may sound like too long of an investment. Well, if you'd rather be an employee, or you'd rather do whatever you're doing now that you dislike because you're not willing to do 5 years of time, well, then that means that whatever this thing you're doing now that you don't like, you can do it for the rest of your life because you weren't willing to do 5 years of pain. And I'm not even saying it's going to be 5 years of pain. I'm just saying it's going to take a number of years to really get this thing rocking and rolling. You're going to go through some period of pain. Heck, you could be making $400,000 a year take home, and you're going to go through pain because you're going to be getting your company to the next level and dealing with some other problem. This stuff never goes away. You just encounter new challenges. So go into this with your spouse knowing this is going to take years of investment, but on the back end, we're building something big here. So let that be encouragement to you, but also be realistic about it. Have that conversation with your spouse. Together, you guys will have a far better life in the long term by doing this together and pushing through and knowing that it's going to be challenging, maybe a bit scary. So next, I would say, in terms of giving yourself encouragement or giving you encouragement, the way you're going to get confidence to do this is you've got to learn sales and marketing. So I have this conclusion I've come to, and that is that marketing know-how, like real marketing know-how, is confidence. And confidence lets you make big decisions. It gives you, again, the confidence to go hire somebody. I saw office helper, office secretary, an operations manager, an assistant. Go ahead and hire another person for the crew that you think you might start in a couple months. You don't have that confidence if you don't know you can't drive, if you're not certain you can drive new business, get new business. So you've got to become a marketing expert. You don't have to be the best. You just need to learn this stuff, because then you know you can bring in business, and then you know you can spend money. Then you know you can hire people. Then you know you can invest in your business. Then you know you can do all these things that make you better than all of your competitors. But if you don't know where the food's going to come from tomorrow, because you don't know where the new clients are going to come from, or if your clients are going to come back, you have no control. Therefore, you have no confidence. It all goes back to marketing. So to encourage you here, and don't wait to become a marketing expert. Don't do that first before you start your business. Do it at the same time. So start your business, but start educating yourself at the same time on marketing. That way you have the confidence to build this thing. That should be big encouragement. I mean, that's the secret. If you will learn marketing, then it will change everything, and you will be ahead of everybody else. So do that, educate yourself, spend the time, and you will be successful. The reason most people fail is because they can't get enough business. And if they can get enough business, the next reason most people fail is because they can't cash flow that business. They run out of money, they overspend, they live too big of a lifestyle, they don't manage their money properly, and they didn't price right, so they don't have enough profit. There's a bunch of scenarios, but the first one is you got to drive business. You got to bring in business. That's through marketing. That breeds confidence. So solve that problem. Then the next hump is cash flow and profit and correct pricing. And so if you're on top of that one, you'll get past that hump too. You'll be successful. So know that you will be successful by learning marketing. So just do it. There is no alternative. And I'll end with this. No amount of planning, that means no amount of writing a business plan, that I think is pretty close to a complete waste of time, but most people disagree with me. This over planning stuff, this I'm gonna save a little bit more money stuff, and there's some value in saving money, don't get me wrong there, because having a pad and not running yourself into big debt, that's a big deal. But it's so easy to tell ourselves a story and say, oh, if I just get this one thing right, or if I learn this one more thing, or if I just prepare this thing, or if I just write my business plan a little bit better. And by the way, the reason I dislike business plans, I don't mind having a plan. You should have a plan, but you don't need a 20-page business plan, because you're not going to follow it. Day one, it's all out the window. You do whatever you got to do to eat. So you can have a plan, and you should make notes about your plan, but you don't need an official business plan. Total waste of time. So don't get caught up in the over planning. Do it. You can plan, read, you can do all of that all day long. Day you start the business, again, all out the window. Everything will change. You'll quickly realize that, wow, all the advice I've been getting from guys that have little bitty businesses or have never done it, all the books I've been reading, you know what, that was helpful, but it's not really. It's not a big help. That stuff will resonate with you. That learning will most resonate with you when you're in the middle of having the pain growing the business. I can have you read a marketing book right now, but until you experience it, until you do it, until you grow your business to a certain size where you've got to actually solve that problem, you could reread that same book and suddenly something resonates. You read that before, but it never meant anything to you. Now you're in the middle of it. Now you're dealing with it. Then you read it. Wow, it's the answer. So some of the stuff that you're going to read and plan for are going to be meaningless till you're actually at a point where you have pain and you need that help. Then when you read that stuff, it makes sense. So you can't just read and consume information in advance. So you've got to get started. You got to do it. If you don't do it, you have no hope of ever learning the lessons you've got to learn to get past the first several years that are a challenge. So just do it. Go for it. It will change everything. So the encouragement here is you get to run the show. That means you have a lot more responsibility than going to a 9 to 5, but that's also kind of cool. You will grow your ability, your skill set, yourself as a person in a massive way. That's awesome in my opinion. You will have the potential to maybe make more money. You will have, and hopefully so, if you build it right, you will. You'll have the potential to eventually take better care of your family and take more vacations. All of these things are possible. Money's just a part of it. It's all the other stuff that I think is super exciting. It's the who you become in the process, knowing that you are in control, knowing that you are guiding your future. So you've just got to do it. And I hope you will, because it will absolutely, totally change your life. Good luck.